Yo, how's it going, guys? I've been playing a lot of Apogea. I didn't get to play in Playtest 1, but I've been playing a lot of Playtest 2, and I haven't progressed that much. Kind of in the sand area, been playing more casually. But one thing I am interested in is kind of the early game routing, especially thanks to Todd Father's routing video, and specifically with Mage, because Mage is very bad early on, but there are a few key items we can pick up on the 1 to about level 6 that I'm going to do here route that are very important. There's actually a free magic orb over at this shipwreck that I see almost no one talk about. This is near the MP or the mana neck at the top of the bandit tower. So I'm just gonna do a quick little 1 to 6 run, pick up those items, and yeah, let's get started. And a lot of it will be similar if you've seen the Todd Father routing video, which I definitely recommend if you want a more comprehensive look into one, like levels 1 through 10. And even though it is more night focused, pretty much all of it will still apply. And I like to go down here and get this torch just because it doesn't take long. I kind of like having some light at some points. And also the shield. I like getting the shield. We're going to be running through a lot of mobs that are going to hit us a lot. And it will honestly potentially save us a couple times. Just run to here, get the chest, and we're out. And then we're actually going to head out of here and suicide for the mana neck. I don't really know if this is worth it, but it doesn't take too much time. And it's better a death now than later, so we don't lose any XP. But during a fresh launch, when the game comes out, there will likely be so many people doing this at any point that you'll be safe just rolling up here. But I'm going to go ahead and do it now. Just get it out of the way. There's also some gloves at the bottom of the tower, which are pretty nice early on. We could potentially use them. Probably won't. You could likely sell them to someone who's either too lazy or doesn't know about the gloves here and wants them. So it's a bit of a bonus incentive. And I think that makes it potentially worth just coming here early on. So just gonna run through the bandit camp. And the gloves are at the bottom. The neck's at the top. I'm gonna take a few hits, but we are probably fine. Sometimes this chest can be hard to click as you come down, so be spamming it as you're running up to it, I would recommend. Click the chest. And there is only one bandit up here, which normally we could probably just kite around and leave, but just let him kill me. He'll be faster in living anyways. But we have the mana neck now, which we won't use for a while. The scarf will be better for us, probably up until 10, if we're staying a squire until 10, which I highly recommend. You can go mage, especially with the items we're going to get here at 5, but it is pretty torturous. You are kind of wasting a lot of downtime waiting for your mana, and you kind of have to chug through food ahead of schedule. Whereas if you're a squire, you just sit there and like auto attack and have a ton of regen even without food. So there seems to be really no reason to go mage early. And there I just went and got a quest from Sabrina. It's a decent XP quest, and pretty much everything's on the way. and we're gonna die pretty much guaranteed when we get the blue orb, so there'll be definite opportunities to turn it in. And here we're just gonna do pretty much probably the normal routing that most people are familiar with in the main city. Which you can definitely farm as well, either completely replacing the questing or just while you're running from quest to quest. It's potentially faster. I haven't really tested it. I don't think in a launch scenario I would be too excited competing for mobs when instead I could just run around, do the quests. And this guy, be sure you do Baldwin, not just quests. I wouldn't be too excited doing the quests or killing mobs and competing for XP when I could just run around, do the quests, get a lot of items that are important to get anyways. So I think I would stick with this instead of mob farming. I would definitely wouldn't be against throwing some mob farming in if the opportunity arises. For that though, you'd probably want to buy an early sword. It'd be better than this one. This one is pretty terrible. And we're just gonna finish up the construction site quest. Also, I'm going to try not to spend a lot of ability points and things outside of probably just flat health and capacity. You get a free trait and ability point respec the first time you pick a class. But when the game comes out, unlike now, which you can just get free respecs, the respecs will either cost money or they're going to cost gold, which you had to pay money for the opportunity to buy them for gold. So I'm just going to try not to really use a lot of useless points in case people aren't really willing to keep respecking. I'm gonna grab the ore. But even as mage, you're pretty willing to put a couple points into health, and you're definitely willing to put a couple points in capacity. And the problem with mage at 5 as opposed to 10 is really, no matter how much gear you have, you just don't have the ability points and the trait points to really start scaling yet. Once you hit 10, you kind of can start to operate a little more fluidly. You have a lot more mana. You have a lot more mana regen. And you're kind of cruising. And then definitely once you hit 16, you hit a pretty good power spike. And then 24, you're like absolutely destroying things. So... and we're gonna get Rubius's quest, and now we're heading to the dock. But like I said, a couple points in capacity and health. And those should probably be fine for now. And we're gonna talk to Elsie, start the White Rock quest, which can be pretty difficult, especially the Pale Goblin part. It's kind of a coin flip on how difficult it is if there's a lot of extra people there, but it's definitely a quest that's worth doing. Gives you a ton of XP and gold. Here we're gonna find Guy, I think his name is. A book. And then we're gonna go downstairs, talk to his rat. You can just say good and cheese. That's enough for him to be progress you through the quest. We're gonna get that chest for the leather bassinet. Talk to the guy, say key, and then back to Rubius. I'm gonna swing by the depot and just throw these gloves and this ingot in. Even the neck, I won't be making use of the neck, so. Perfect. And you can just shift left click to auto put stuff in there. So, I guess you cannot do it to an equipped piece. And I'm not sure what time of day when a new, like a fresh server, like when the game comes out, starts. I don't know what time of day the server starts at. A lot of my runs, I usually get to the Pale Goblin part when it starts becoming night. So that's probably what I would expect, though I think here we're going to have a lot of time. I think I started more early in the morning, so we'll see what happens. And we're going to talk to Hildegard, do her quest. I'll go ahead and put one, at least one in magic, just so I can use the dash book and get rid of it. We're gonna wrap around here after we get the key. Back to Hildegard we go. Although before that, you probably want to make a trip to Wilfred while we're here. And you say healthy. I forgot to say yes. Talk to Hildegard and then make our way to the caravan. And one thing you can do here, though, like I said before, I'm kind of hesitant to just spam use trait and attribute respecs, even though they're free right now. You can, once you're level 4, put a point into Cozy and Useful and a point into Lightfoot. So you can get 3 additional move speed as long as you have 105 capacity remaining. Which, I mean, does speed you up a lot. But I'm going to go ahead and not do that just for the sake of not using a trait respec. But know that if they do end up giving us a lot for free, or they're just like cheap enough where a lot of people don't care, you can just go ahead and do that. Get some free move speed. So we're gonna roll up to the caravan, talk to Hester, get his quest. And then we're gonna do the cooking quest with Dewey. You just say cook and yes. Now, all you have to do for the chef is just keep saying yes each step. And then you can just press a number on your key to not put the whole stack down. So you just like press 1 when you're cooking. We'll nice, we hit the 3. And then bowl in the hand, get water in it. Put the 1 fish in there. And we're done. And we're gonna head this way because this is where the rider is for Sabrina's quest. And it's pretty much on the way. Just talk to this guy. Big book. You can loot this for a lamb meat, I believe. And then on our way back here. This guy tells you that Gavin has his book. And you can buy the book from Gavin for, it's either 100 or 200 gold. But if you wait until you have the rope, you can slip in behind, steal the book, and then not have to pay. Right, get his quest. The guy at the top is a double yeser, so you have to type yes twice. Don't. Now we're gonna make our way to the rope. And if you're watching this after the second playtest, some of these like ramps and small movement places could be different. I heard they did a decent amount of that between playtest 1 and 2. But I think for the most part, where the objects are located will remain the same. Though they could be changed. And then here's where you get the rope. And through here and up the stairs. Through the arch, down the stairs here, and then up these stairs. You're gonna kind of want to dodge this occultist. He's gonna shoot like a blast at you. Grab the chest. Run out the back. And we're gonna make our way back to the Sentinel Tower. All the way to the top. And then we're going to make our way to the mausoleum. The reason being is the mausoleum quest gives you a different reward depending on who you turn it into. If you turn it into Seymour, he gives you, it's either heal or light. If you turn it into the guy at the bottom of the stairs, he gives you Conjure Fire, which is what we're going to be going for because that will save us. Conjure Fire costs 100, heals 50, and then light is like 25 or 30, something like that. So we're just going to go all the way to the bottom and talk to this guy. Head over here. this little candle. And push chest, get the ink, head back to the guy. And probably even before this point, when you're at the caravan the first time, is probably where I would try to buy the iron sword. I think it's 50 gold if you plan on wanting to kill some stuff just while you're running around. There is kind of a time constraint. Yeah, we're gonna try this in. And we got Conjure Fire. There is kind of a time constraint with what I'm going to do here. It's not too important. It's just I wanted to fit the wizard hat into just the totality of the run. But really, since I don't recommend going mage before level 10 anyways, you can really do the wizard hat at any time. You just want to be in the caravan area a little bit before midnight. So that'll be our kind of time constraint here. Up here and get this green book. Quest, yes. And then this girl's another double yeser. And then you need to cancel the dialogue to turn it in. Just kind of run away until she doesn't talk to you anymore, and then say book. And we get the scarf. Then we head to Dewey and say letter. And then we're gonna wrap around here for the Sabrina quest. You just click this little rope thing in the window, click the chest, and then you get the book instead of paying the gold price. And I'm gonna go ahead and turn this quest in just to get the clock, so I can check what time it is for a few things. It's pretty nice to get. It's just up the road here again. And then we are good to go back to town via the little shortcut back here. And now we're gonna head to the Elsie's mom and the vendor next to her. We need to buy a crowbar and turn 2 quests into, I believe her name's Lurleen. Sure, turn off my torch. Buy the crowbar. And then you're going to talk to Lurleen and say Esther and Elsie. And then Lurleen's going to point you towards just right up here to her husband Sigurd. So we're going to go pay him a visit. Say Elsie. He's gonna point you to Jacquez. Across the street. And we're gonna say White Rat. And wrap around and go head into the sewers. Looks like everything's up here, so you can take quite a bit of damage from these giant rats, but just kind of stay along the wall, dodge their charge. Run this way towards the manhole. These can be hard to click sometimes, depending on your camera orientation, so just kind of maybe move it around, spam click it if you're having problems. Just try to dodge the giant rats as much as you can. And get the stuffed white rat, and then we're heading back. A lot of dangerous mobs, but as long as you're just like kind of running and moving a little bit, it's a bit hard for them to hit you. So, should be good. Back upstairs. Then we're going across the street to the upstairs part of the bar. We're going to talk to this guy. We're going to say White Rat and then Razabar. And then we go talk to Razabar. Which I'm actually going to make a quick stop at the depot. We'll head to Razabar. I definitely would, even if you're low, you don't want to eat some bigger food, I wouldn't eat the cheese. If anything, I'd buy some bread off one of the merchants in the town square and turn it into grilled cheeses and potentially even save them for later. They're pretty good MP foods. So now we're just going out the eastern gate out of the city to talk to Ulrich. And this Pale Goblin part can, depending on what's happening there, it can be a little difficult. I suspect it's not too bad with a lot of people there. There's probably just enough aggro being thrown around that you can probably just walk in and finish the quest. There is a few orcs that can be aggroed if people aren't paying attention, which that can cause a problem. But here we're going to go up the tower to get the kettle helmet. There's usually a few giant rats here you'll get hit by, but you can avoid most of their damage. And then here it can be hard to click this, so just kind of spam click the side there if you're having problems. Then we're going to go out and around, put on the kettle helmet. Yeah, there is an orc here, which is a problem. I don't know if I can. I'm going to go ahead and eat. Get some mana regen, or health regen. I don't know if I can get him to jump up here, but I'm going to try. Okay, this is good. I can kite him. If I don't get hit to Ulrich, and he should despawn there. So that's how you want to deal with the Ulrich if he's there. And I don't know if I'll have to do it to the Biscuit Goblins, but it's kind of the same process. You kind of get them to jump up there, and then you run all the way back to Ulrich, and they should despawn somewhere around there. Looks like maybe someone's getting this. Okay. Yeah, I'll head back around, but you pretty much just aggro that goblin. You can aggro like all 4 of them, or 3 that are down there, and try to get all of them to jump on you. But it looks like we're going to be able to just walk in. And you just come in here, talk to the Pale Goblin, say, Ulrich, treasure a lot soon. Now we can head back to Ulrich. And usually, I think you normally won't have time for this, I think, if you're trying to hit the mage hat on like the first night, which like I said, it's not too important. I think around now is when midnight will be occurring. Back to Ezabar. And even with the orc, it's not too bad if you know what you're doing. Problem is the orc could just be on someone else, and it could just be AoE absolutely obliterating everyone there. So it might be kind of hard to get him on you, but sometimes Apogea is painful, so. And we just say White Rat, continue. I think like 4 main spots you have really high potential of dying is the Pale Goblin, where we're gonna get the blue magic orb, the leather armor, depending on how many people are there, and potentially the Minotaur. There's of course no spots open, but the Minotaur should be very easy. And you can put the crowbar away for now. You won't need it, and it'll save you some space. And all that I'll keep. Now we're just going back to Sigurd. I don't know if I can squeeze through here. Okay. Now we will be doing a lot of running back and forth between Wilfred and Elsie. And we can also turn the leather into Seraphina. Elsie gives you a quest to go buy 10 roses, and he gives you the gold for it. It's going to cost 200 gold. You could, in theory, stop the quest line here and just take his bankroll, but you get, if not equal, more gold at the end and an absolute ton of XP, so I wouldn't recommend that. But I guess if you're in a dire situation, you could go say letter to Seraphina. If you're in a dire situation, you could take a loan out and pause the quest chain for a bit until you have enough gold to buy the roses again. Could be a decent strat for buying a really good weapon someone's dropped early on. We're heading to Elsie. And be sure to get that chest under the bridge, just so it progresses the quest. Because when we go back to the... When we go back to the Sentinel Tower, you'll talk to the guard for the leather legs. And to Elsie. And you're gonna say delivery. You're not on the Elsie part. That's why I got confused. To the mom to buy the roses. So we're gonna buy 10 roses. And then back to Wilfred. Say Elsie. Then back to Elsie again. It's only 7:20, so definitely have plenty of time. And I think I'm actually gonna buy an iron sword next time I pass by the market. It's just gonna speed up the leveling a lot quicker as Squire to 10. We're just gonna say delivery, which I more than recommend. I've played Mage at 5 a couple times now, and Squire to 10, and Mage at 5 is just too awful to really run it over just playing Squire to 10. Yeah, I'd probably play Squire 10 to 11 even. Your farm speed starts to fall off since you're not picking a class and you're not a knight or a rogue doing a lot more damage. But you're getting the true damage trait anyways, which adds a lot of free damage. So you might as well farm to about 11 anyways. This can just be thrown away. And we're just gonna say delivery. And he's like, she hasn't shown up. It's 8 o'clock. And we kind of have more than enough time heading back to the caravan. So I could stop by the troll, but it's kind of a bad... I'll just head to the caravan and do some grinding if we have some extra time. One good spot to grind in early is up here. It's part of the, you have to buy a shovel, but a lot of people probably won't buy a shovel early. They just go down here and there's a lot of skeletons to farm. Very nice skeleton early farm spot. Because a lot of people won't want to buy a shovel early, potentially. And also, it's the place involved in the brass plate quest that you can do at 15. I believe it's level 15 now. So, potentially worth checking out early. I probably wouldn't even start like farming skeletons though until you're 6. Because level 6 is when you get the true damage. And then talk to Hester and say we're lean. And then we're gonna head to the Sentinel Tower to get the leather legs. They should get a 6, so I might just swing by the mausoleum, kill a few skeletons. So up the stairs to the Sentinel Tower. This guy, downstairs guy. We're gonna say letter. That gives us the pants. There's a house you can go to the, it's kind of to the north of the caravan that has a free pair of leather boots, which sometimes I'll go to. But I think I'm just gonna skip it this time. Kind of lose. I think it's... somewhere around here, I believe. Along this cliff, there's just a little house you can go into. The leather boots are right there. Let's see what time it is. 9:40. We've got honestly a lot of extra time to start grinding here, so I'll kill a few skeletons in the meantime. And I am gonna go True Grip into Unnatural Flow, because Unnatural Flow is just increases your damage by a ton. And if this is locked, you just go in here and I believe this lever. But I like farming skeletons and rats a lot. Bandits are okay. They do give you more XP, but I don't have skull on my blacklist, but skeletons give you a lot of shields and swords that you can sell, and rats give you a lot of cheese that you can make into grilled cheeses when you need them later, and you will need a lot of food later as a mage. So getting a few materials while we level is a pretty good upside. There is no amount of cheese you can get here that is too much. So. And there is a good skeleton farm spot over here if you have the shovel again. So the shovel pretty decent to buy early for some farm spots. But it's just over here in this room. Go down there. A lot of skeletons that spawn down there. It's 11, so I'll start to head back. Let's sell this buckler real quick, and then we'll talk to Zebulon. Or you know what? Actually, I'll equip the buckler for now and just sell the normal wood shield. Now we're gonna talk to Zebulon, and this is also the guy you buy the staff from. But for now, we're just gonna say quest 5 times. And he's gonna send us off to the tower where we'll get the mage hat here. And this is the spot you can dash out, but at this level you kind of need a lot of points in ability and mana, and you have to sit there and regen your mana for another dash. It just kind of takes a while. You have to do probably like 2 respecs if you're planning on mostly being a mage and don't really want to waste a respec. I would just kind of do this at some point before midnight. And you just wait a minute or so here for Zebulon to appear. And right on time, you say sorry, and then yes, and he's going to teleport you to the Sentinel Tower. And we're just going to head back to the caravan. And where we're gonna swing by now is the night market, and the night market, you have to buy a key for 30 gold from a vendor that appears at 1 a.m. every night. So it just kind of lines up when I do the Zebulon quest. I'm like, might as well get the night market purchase out of the way. After you buy the key, you can use both entrances at any time. Though the vendors disappear sometime into the day and then respawn like at 7 p.m. or so. You're just gonna head around this way. Down here. And you can farm a few mobs on the way here because, as you can see, we still have 30 in-game minutes, which is a bit, and you have a little leeway of when this guy disappears again. But I'll just wait here for him to appear. Alright, and then at midnight he'll appear, you say key, yes, pay 30 gold, and Osrid sells like quest items if you lose them, but they're kind of expensive. This is the guy that sells what you're probably going to be after. These are all sold for a random price. I assume there's a floor. There's a minimum of which these can be reduced to. I've never seen anything being... You'll have about 100 gold around now. I've never seen anything sell. You can give it a try, but I doubt any of these will actually sell. But, I mean, if they did, you'd be absolutely more than happy. And the way out's over here. And there will be a raid going on right now when you exit, so you can definitely participate in that. You have a bit of spare time too. It looks like they may have killed it already. So we're gonna bounce. The main item you're looking for in the night market is the brass legs, and you're looking to spend about, I think the average every time I bought them is around 500 to 600, but they can be more expensive or even cheaper. But that's the main item you're looking for. Has a lot of armor and some mana regen, so they're actually kind of perfect for mages as well. And here, I think I'm gonna go ahead and go to the Minotaur and the blue orb. Actually, I'm gonna swing by the... Yeah. I'm gonna go to the Minotaur and the blue orb. The leather chest is right next to the Minotaur when we finish, so we'll probably make an attempt at that as well. The problem is, if there's not a lot of people kind of rushing it right now or someone clearing it, it can be really hard. During a fresh start, there'll almost assuredly be a lot of people going for this, so it shouldn't be too hard, but we'll see how it looks after this Minotaur. And looks like the Minotaur's in the cave. If someone has been here before you, there's a chance that Elsie's cage is already open, and you can kind of go around here and check. That is open, so we want to lure the Minotaur out and make a check down there, but first I'm going to lure him over to this area and make another loop around. And I'll show the way it'll work if her cage is locked, even if she's unlocked, but I suspect her cage is open. let's head down there. And it is open. So you just talk to her and she leaves, and that's it. But if it's not open, you want to come back here, and you'll know from before if this is locked or not. But if the cage is locked and this was open, you can just come back here and hit that lever and it'll unlock her cage. There's also a bow in this chest you can pick up. But if this is locked, then you have to go back over to the third island. And we're going to take a few hits from the Minotaur here. But you want to come around here and hit that lever. And that will unlock the door for that first lever. Now we'll head to the leather chest. I'll go ahead and eat some fish steak. And it looks like this is probably cleared right now. If it's not, you can technically teleport in here and avoid all the mobs, but it's quite difficult if no one's been here due to the amount of mobs. I think there's normally 4 or 5 bandits, a skeleton, and an occultist caster. So you kind of want to go here only if you see it cleared or there's a lot of people running around soaking the aggro, because this ladder cannot be used if you're in combat. So then you're going to go up here, you're going to get this chest, and then you're just going to escape through with the lever. Now we have a very good leather chest piece. And now we are going to head to the free blue orb, the magic orb. So it's right up here, very close to the bandit tower we suicided at level 1, and not too cleared. So there is, we can kind of make our way around here, but there is a cheese wheel over here that I'd recommend getting, just because cheese is nice to have, plus it can sell well. So where the cheese wheel is, and usually there's a lot of goblins here, but we can just kind of take our time. The cheese wheel is down, and you click this, and then go under, get the cheese wheel. And then you have to make your way back to the beginning. But the mobs here are generally pretty decently easy to avoid. And then once you're ready to actually go down, you take this, go up, go into the water. I've never seen the mobs follow you into the water, even the jumping goblins, so I'm pretty sure once you're down here, you're safe from them. There is usually a ooze cube here that you just run by, and it looks like this room's actually cleared, but you're gonna teleport down here, and usually this door is locked, but it can be unlocked, and there's gonna be a cave troll and a bunch of other mobs, but you can just run in, you take a damage from the cave troll, you open the chest, you get hit by the cave troll, and then we're just gonna die here. If you don't get hit, you can run here and click this. However, this route is also deadly. There's a ton of Viscid goblins and other just strong early game mobs that are probably gonna kill you. But if you make the run, you'll eventually end up in the sewers, kind of where you did the Hildegard quest. And it's a nice bonus to not lose the 300 XP, but you can afford it. And even if you de-level here, you might de-level a little bit. We're going to be turning in the White Rat quest, and we can turn this one in now, especially since we've gotten most of our deaths out of the way, or potential deaths. And we're going to have a ton of XP. And our capacity is looking a little terrible, but the orb got sent to our bank. Let me swing. Swing by the depot. No, we are approaching the end. I'll kind of show the mage gear. There's one more item we can get. It used to be, I believe they fixed that the mushrooms in the basement pretty much never reset. Every time I've done this recently, they've been reset. So we'll see if it works again. I'm just gonna throw this in the bank for now, but you definitely just want to vendor it. The bow and like the knife. I'll go ahead and buy heal. Get enough magic from the gear. Go ahead and throw one in, learn it. I'll see. And boom, we get 300 or a little under 300 gold. I think that was a ton of XP, almost level 7. A light missile book, which you can sell or hold on to. I'd probably just sell it early and then maybe rebuy it later. Especially if you're a little bit off of the 1,000 gold you want at level 10 to run through the desert and get the velvet pouch. But I'm gonna head to the bank and we're gonna check out what our mage setup is looking like if we wanted to go mage right now. Which the main things we would need to buy right now is we still need the magic staff, which is 200, and the class, which is 100. So we have just barely enough for like the bare minimum. So if we were looking at being a mage and we say we have the staff here, we'd be looking at this setup right now, which is pretty good. We'd have the staff, we have a orb we got for free, we have some pretty good tanky armor, the wizard hat, the regen neck. The only thing we're missing is the magic ring, so we're gonna go get that real quick. And I'd probably just go ahead and throw a few points into health. Alright, so the magic ring house is right here. And get these potions ready. The way I like to approach this house is to put my camera in it. So we're gonna go through the door. Oh, and actually, we need a shovel. So we're gonna run back to the caravan real quick for a shovel. Yeah, I'd probably buy this earlier just to maybe farm some skeletons at some point. But we didn't really need it, so. Alright, we bought the shovel. And you know what, while we're here, we can just go ahead and buy the staff. But as you can see, money's definitely tight still. If we were to go mage right now, we would have almost no money left over for food, which is just gonna be absolutely miserable. You want quite a lot of food, and 4 cheese to make four to have 5 grilled cheese total will not be a lot. And that's mainly due we just don't have a ton of ability points for our mana pool and MP region to be acceptable yet. So I would definitely just go Squire until 10 or 11. So here, we're going to run through the door. We're going to take the ladder and then immediately click in front of us to dig down. And the mushrooms will either be reset or they might just insta-kill you. It's kind of random where they are. So if someone's let them out already. So take the ladder, click in front of you. Try not to take that. So it looks like someone's killed them. Let's turn on the light to see what's up. It's open and someone's killed them. But what's going to happen is you're going to spawn into the water here. You want to run out the long end because the other directions you get stuck. And there's a lever over here that opens this door and lets out like 3 or 4 mushrooms, which sounds like they're respawning. But it's going to let them out. Maybe pop a healing potion if you took that previous mushroom damage, and then, well, I locked it. Don't know why I pressed it, but you're gonna unlock it. They're gonna start running in. They'll probably shoot some lasers and do an AoE at you, but you should have enough health to get the chest. And then you would likely die here, but if you dodge well enough, or maybe someone's distracted them in a favorable manner, you can make your way out this way. And I've only gone out this way once, so you're just gonna hit that, leave, and now we're in the town. So we're gonna wrap around back to the house. If you die, you can just run back to the house. There's pretty much no chance of dying in the house after this. We're not going back down there. We're just going straight forward. And we're gonna go into the house, run up here, just go through this door, get the ring, and then we're running back out. And boom. We have the 2 magic ring, we've got the staff, we've got the orb, we've got the neck, we've got 2 good armor. However, like, once you start having around 500-ish gold, maybe even starting at 400, I'd start hitting up the night market when you can to buy the brass legs. And at level 15, you can get the brass plate, or the chest piece. And 15, you can also start the quest for the, I believe they're called the Euler's leggings, which are probably your next upgrade. And you're going to farm your way to 10 as Squire on mainly rats and skeletons, selling the bucklers and swords and other stuff. And once you get 1,000 gold and are level 11 and already have the brass legs, you're going to make your way through the desert, and you're going to have to use dash to get through like this fortress area. But once you make your way to the city in the desert, there's a vendor that sells a velvet pouch for 1,000 gold. It is a very good pouch. You're probably going to use it for multiple levels until you can get potentially an uncommon velvet pouch. So you'll likely be using this for a long time. 1,000 gold is kind of a steep cost, but for how long you're using this, unless you see a deal for like really good staff for cheap, I would put my money towards this and then just farm for the staff later on. But yeah, then you should be level 10 or 11, and you will be cruising from there. Another thing quest wise, pre level 10, The pretty much only two other quests kind of worth doing until later on is you're gonna want to go to Nordha over here. Just go across the bridge and kind of make your way around. You're gonna go to the Nordha Tower, talk to Balder, get his quest, and then you're gonna go to this building right here, talk to Fergus and get his quest. And then you're gonna run. You do this little building thing here, where you like pull the levers and run to this end and get in there and get the chest. Then you run up here, and I don't think I have the map uncovered here, but you go around this side and go near the water, take a ladder up here, talk to a guy in this building, and then fight Talk. And you come back and turn those in. You get the Vanguard shield, which you're probably going to use while leveling his Swire. Alright, and that's my quick little 1 to about 6.5. You might probably die in the mushroom area at least once. So pretty good. A little over 110, which is not bad, I think. Especially your farm speed's pretty good from here. Oh, and for the record, once you want to become a mage, you can just go to the town square and talk to the guy we got that book quest from at around level 3 and say you want to learn magic, and he'll point you towards the west tower, and you just go into this little area here. There's a door that will allow you to go up on top of the wall. You run along the wall, go to the west tower. Sometimes he's not there, so you might have to wait a little bit, and then you just talk to him, pay 100 gold, and you become a mage. And like I mentioned at the start, if you're looking for more of a comprehensive guide and probably better routing, I would definitely check out Todd Father's routing video. And if you're looking for more high level mage videos and tips on gearing and traits, check out Ode to Whirl. I'll put a link to both of them in the description. Very good high level mage. His videos are excellent. I believe he's still, yep, he's still crushing it. So definitely check him out. And yeah, take it easy.